Hey everyone, welcome to Coworker Calamity, the podcast where we try to make sense of the chaos that comes with being young women who have recently entered the quote-unquote real world. My name is Caroline, and today's episode is titled Oracle and Oration. Once again, I'm joined by my coworker, co-host, and fellow Oracle connoisseur, Miss Iza. Hello. I feel like we do that, like, hello.
It's so iconic.
I always think of, like, hello. Like, that's been my new one recently. Sorry, for audio listeners only, which is everybody who are looking at our new Oracle decks. Isa recently came back from a work trip in New Orleans.
Heck yeah.
And she bought me a beautiful Oracle deck and herself one as well. Yeah. But that being said, today we're going to kind of dive into a little bit of the world of Oracle decks and how they differ from tarot decks and our thoughts and feelings and opinions and emotional connections to that.
Oracle.
To Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you define, I guess, like the difference between an Oracle and a tarot deck for those who maybe aren't super well informed?
So tarot usually follows the traditional cards layout. Like there are 78 cards. Mm-hmm. In a tarot deck, and they'll all be of major and minor arcana, right? So every single tarot deck you buy will have, and sometimes authors get a little bit creative and add like an extra one for them from themselves, but usually it'll be the magician and death and the tower, and then the minor arcana would be like wands and swords and stuff, and usually they follow those rules. I would say Oracle is there's more freedom of creativity there. So it's kind of a creator's interpretation of divination, and it's more freeing, I guess. Like it allows for more creativity. Like, for example, if I were to make a deck, I probably would make an Oracle deck, so I don't have to kind of stay confined in the arcana biz. So I guess if you want something that's more loose and open to interpretation, Oracle is your friend, and then tarot will be that traditional, okay, I pulled the page, this is what the page.
Yeah, and for some background too, like tarot, it has a very long history that follows under some, like, it's almost a story of sorts, especially with the major arcana, which is about like the fool who goes on an adventure in life. And like,
it's like a whole start to beginning.
Yeah, so it starts with the fool, and throughout the adventure, different things happen to this person, and they go through like transformation and death, and they deal with like the devil and like all these things until the ending, which is the world, which is the completed cycle. And the minor arcanas, which are swords, cups, wands, and pentacles, all kind of are almost like clarifying those like parts of like the story and what's going on. And each sector is usually career, love, relationships, emotions, conflict, etc. So yeah, like you really don't have much leeway for that, other than I've seen artists sometimes they'll like change like wands into like crowns or like stuff like that, so they'll make it like themed. Like I bought this new deck recently that was like romance fantasy, and instead of like the traditional swords blah blah blah, they have like swords, crowns, wings, and I forget the last one. So it has like some, I guess, like leeway there. Oracle decks I feel like are definitely more new user friendly. You don't need to know the background on the card. It literally will say exactly what it means. And as you said, to like whoever is the creator of the deck can basically have whatever they want on them. I think a really good starter pack is like Rebecca Campbell, she has really interesting Oracle decks because they have like full like sentences on there where it'll be like, this is not for you right now, or like yes, no, stuff like that. That's very clear answers, so you don't have to worry about interpretation. Although I will say, anytime you're doing any sort of like tarot or reading, you have to interpret it in some way. It's not gonna like
I would say
AI itself.
When you go into any kind of store that will do readings for you, the most common Oracle deck you'll see, and also for beginners, is anything around the animal sense, like an animal Oracle. That's that's kind of like the wine pairing to the cheese of tarot, basically. So animal oracles are very common. I think that's the most common. Like if you were to get a reading, you'd pull an animal for yourself.
Yeah, and typically I think that's because spirit guides are like known to be like animals a lot, or be sent or send you animals. So it's something you can connect to what you're seeing in your day-to-day life. Like if you're going to a store and you get pulled like a bird or whatever, and you see a lot of that bird, then there's a connection there for myself, versus like or if you have like a special like love for a specific animal, like a dog, and then you go and they pull you a dog, you like know that, okay, like this is like a sign that this is for me and I need to like really listen. So it adds like a frosting to the cupcake, if you will.
Exactly.
But it's interesting too. How do you have a preference? Do you like oracle more than tarot?
I would say I really like them both for different reasons. I think oracle decks are very impressive to me because it's all kind of in the hands of an artist, and it takes so much time to kind of create a deck without the pillars of tarot, right? Because at least with tarot, when you're creating a tarot deck, you kind of have, okay, now I got to make the 5 of swords, and usually that represents this, and that's my inspiration. But oracle deck artists and illustrators and whatever, they have to work from scratch, right? They're creating not only the topic but the meaning and the art. Tarot, I think I like because it's very structured and more universally used. Like I can buy a tarot deck and I'll know what the cards mean without having to go through the book every time. I think oracle kind of makes you, because if you have a lot, it's kind of hard to memorize what all of these mean unless you really religiously just use like one. So,
and I feel like tarot is more traditional in the sense because it does have a huge amount of history. I think we looked this up one time, like the original tarot deck was maybe in like, there's so much debate about it, but it goes back for a very, very long time. And like back then when it first started, they only used major arcana. They never even used the minor ones. So it's really interesting in that way. And also there are some people who are so good at reading tarot that like they literally like flip the deck and they can like say exactly what's going on. It's weird.
Yeah, I hope to be that one day.
Yeah, same.
I just want to like flip 3 cards and be like, honey.
Like, okay, so this happened, this is probably important. These it just takes practice, I think, and also like self-confidence and being able to like really like be in tune, you know?
No, for sure.
And also you have to have a level of intelligence to be able to like connect certain dots. I see a lot of people who are like big tarot readers talk about like how the universe communicates in a really specific language. It's not exactly like how you would expect, so you have to understand how it communicates and what it's trying to say. And so there's like a practice there too of like understanding a new language in some ways. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
For real. Anyways, rant aside, I was thinking we pull a card and we kind of talk about it, kind of like tarot and tales. And I'll pull one for you and you discuss how you feel or your thoughts on whatever said topic, and then vice versa.
Okay, are we gonna do like a just general like
let's do a general. Maybe we do we do a general last, maybe like
okay.
A
I was gonna say do like what are we pulling this card for? Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
sadly no. I haven't eaten.
Just
2
like
coffees in.
What, like, is it about career, love, like just general where my life is? Because I feel like that helps like me like zone into like why this might be pulled for me. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, let's do
like
it.
How this connects.
All right, so then, let me do. See, I always pick general, so maybe let's do something about the month of March because it just started.
Okay.
So I guess that is kind of general. Month of March, what that looks like maybe for my personal life, I guess, my personal endeavors.
Okay.
So that'll be for me. What reading do you want?
I'll do. How about you pull 2 cards for me? March and April.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll do something similar, like how my life is developing, like in terms of cycles and like journey and personal power and path.
Okay. Let me
Peace.
Shuffle. So I purchased the Southern Gothic Oracle by Stacey Williams NG, and she made two kind of tinier. This is only a 45 card deck, but she has two. She has Southern Gothic, and then I got the Southern Botanic Oracle, which is kind of like, they're kind of like a collection. I was gonna get one for myself too, but that was the last one. Oh. And I was like, I guess I'll get it for Carol.
Oh, I feel so special.
Yeah, no, when I tell you that I was so close, there's so many tarot and like all of that kind of vibe in New Orleans that it was just so cool. But okay, let me not bird walk here.
I got friends on the other side.
Literally. Oh, and then that's my voodoo doll.
Oh God.
I bought a voodoo doll in New Orleans.
Staring at me.
Okay, so you said for the month of April, and then
March and April.
March and April. Okay. Okay. I got number 34 and card number 11.
Oh.
Yeah. And so
which one's which?
So card 34 for the month of March is the pine cone, and the two words on the card are third eye and new perspective. Ooh. Does that mean you're going to open your third eye? I have no idea. Do I believe that is a thing? Not really.
Really? I feel like that's just another word for like intuition, or like your ability to like tap into.
I just never believe anyone who's like, I opened my third eye.
I don't think it's like it happens once and then it's like you're now open for like the rest of your life. Right. I think it's like something you can like tap into, you know, like you can with like your gut.
The straw and the cones, the intoxicating scent of pine cones are everywhere. The pineal gland in the brain, which produces melatonin and is described as the seat of the soul, was named after the pine cone. As with many iconic symbols throughout history, the shape of the ambiguous pine cone has been used throughout history to allude to spiritual enlightenment and the third eye. They are also a popular accessory in many southern homes, as the cone shape is beautiful and the porous wood can effectively hold the scent of essential oils. I did not know that, but that's cool.
Me either. That's cool. Well, maybe I'll do that.
Are you in touch with your third eye? There's no pine cones in the state we live.
Oh, you're right.
Rest in peace. We live in the South. Next time I go up north to where I'm from, I'll grab pine cones because we have a ton. Yeah. They just get sticky.
They do get gross.
Yeah, like
you can wash them.
Like the classic one, like the one that everyone thinks of when they think of pine cone, not that bad, but the one that I usually have around my house and stuff, they're like longer and like covered in sap. It's like gross. Mm-hmm. Anyways, are you in touch with your third eye, your intuition? This card calls you to seek the intelligence that is within the very fiber of your being. We can become disconnected from our inner light, which makes us feel unmoored, as though we are somehow separate from the universe around us. This wisdom is within you. It was there before you were even born. Tap into it. So I think this is maybe just being more in line with your inner self, I guess, and connecting that to what's around you and kind of feeding into both your inner spiritual, your 3D self and your higher self. Yeah
This actually lines up right with like readings I've been doing about this month, and I think it's about like, because I feel like I'm in a place in my life where I'm really trying to like zone in on like what do I want out of like living, you know. It's more about less of looking at external factors and having people provide that answer for me, and more that I have the capabilities to like discover that on my own. But I have to be like, you have to be in a certain state, right, where you're not overthinking or you're not letting like the ego of yourself like tell you how to feel, but like more of the authentic parts of you that are just like inherently there before they were obscured by like social biases and the people around you telling you what you should be looking for when you inherently do know what you should be looking for.
And honestly, I really think that approaching spring, I think there's a different energy kind of happening where winter is at its end and things are finally warming up and the sun is out for longer. I think that's kind of representative of gaining that new setting, that new environment, and therefore new perspectives. I don't know. I think that kind of has a lot to do with it.
So much sense too. Well, because it's like seeds. Literally. Well, we always go through like different cycles in your life, and like the grand scheme of things, plus per year, plus per month, plus per day, really, you know. So it makes sense that would be like, okay, you've been in winter, which is a time of retreat, regardless of where you live in the world. But that's a time of like retreat and like rest and like like reflection. And then when you hit spring, that's about like growing and like starting to like really see how like the seeds you've planted in your life are starting to bloom and like how you can utilize that for yourself. And
that's a really great thing, like planting your seeds at the end of the warmth and then seeing how that sprouts.
And in the summer, you know, is when you like start, at end of spring is when you start to like enjoy your, you know, abundance, if you will.
Right. And honestly, I think April will be even a better month for you.
Yeah.
Because I got the Crystal Grotto, which means energy and cosmos. The Crystal Grotto is a very auspicious card. Caves and grottos represent a place of creation, the emergence of celestial bodies, and the womb. In this image, the grotto is composed of glittering crystals, which manifests transcendence in the light of the heavens. To draw this card is to be at a place of readiness. Your soul is summoned itself to visit the shrine of the Crystal Shrine Grotto, where the floodgates of divine knowledge will open to you. Many mystics have come here before you and received divine wisdom through the magic of the crystal energy. You are being invited to connect with the mysteries of the cosmos. New ideologies are present at higher frequencies. Enter into the Crystal Shrine Grotto to activate your divine gifts. Consider a prayer or sacred invocation, and this is what the prayer is. I ask that this space might connect me to my highest truth. That was it. You are a magical being and you have infinite potential. Note, 11 is the angel number. So, what's really cool is that the pine cone told you
is like, and also the pine cone is literally a seed, by the way.
Yeah, no.
And then that talks about being like fertile and like things like growing. So it's like planting seeds within this month that are gonna start to like grow into my life in April. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, so the pine cone asks you to feel more connected to the universe and not separate yourself from that. And then I think the Crystal Grotto is basically like telling you, you know, after that self-reflection and all of that, you're kind of gonna get those answers and feel more connected to yourself and new ideas and higher frequencies, yada yada yada. So I think that kind of, those two cards, and also the picture here too is really interesting because there's the pine cone, right? And I'm going to describe this in the best way possible. The first card is a pine cone, beautifully painted, by the way. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
And then the Crystal Grotto is a tree, and around the tree and kind of replacing the forest floor is like a rockier, more crystal-esque floor. And then there is beautiful purple, pink, and blue crystals kind of sprouting from where leaves would sprout and all that stuff. So the tree's kind of like a foundation for all these crystal energies. So pine cone and then tree, like that's really interesting.
Especially because that deck isn't like an all nature deck either, right? It's like there's a bunch of like different objects and stuff. So that is interesting.
Yeah, no, some examples include the horseshoe, nest of wasps, a hurricane lamp, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Some plants. This is a mason jar. This one is an axe. The bayou. The peach.
Yeah, see, that's interesting.
I'm obsessed with this deck. I think this is my favorite one I've never
beautiful.
seen of this before. And that was so cool about New Orleans is that there are walls and walls of tarot decks that you've never seen before. It was impossible to pick one.
I was about to say, I would be in that store for 8 years and I'd come out with 14 of them.
I literally would have bought every single one, but I had no space in my suitcase. I can't lie. But yeah, so that's the, and I highly recommend, maybe you can buy it online. I haven't seen it online.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at it.
But the Southern Gothic Oracle, once again written and illustrated by a artist in Memphis. Where is that?
Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, that's what. Well, like where in Tennessee? Like,
I think it is. I know it's a dangerous place. it's like in the top.
That's what they say about every place.
No, it's like in the top 10 like most dangerous cities in the U.S.
Oh, awesome.
But I think it's like, I don't know, like to the west.
Maybe, but yeah.
I'm really bad with geography.
Yeah, no, but I love it. I love the vibes.
I love that. Thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
All right, your turn. So you want to just March?
Let's do 2 cards, I guess. Let's do March, and then the second card should maybe be more, so March personal life, and then the second card will be just general for my work life, I guess, maybe what my career looks like.
Okay.
So like personal and then work.
All right.
So 2 different cards.
All right. Let's do shuffle. And you know what I think this is really interesting before I shuffle is every like person who does readings has a different method about how they pull cards.
Really?
Like Iza, she just like shuffles it for a bit and just pulls like the ones at the top. I always shuffle mine and wait for like them to like fly out.
I do that, but I never get, my hands are really big. So like I have full control over the cards that I'm holding, so that never happens. I do it, but it takes so long for them to fall out that it's not even like, yeah, like for you it happens so quick. I can't do that.
I think it's just part of like
practice.
Like, I mean, yeah, I've gotten really good at shuffling cards. Like, I can like shuffle a deck.
Heck yeah.
But again, yeah, it is practice. But also, it's whatever you connect with too, you know.
True.
Okay, this is interesting. So the first card you got, which is the one I pulled for the month of March, was the number 14, and it is Archangel Root. And on here, it has the Latin term of what the root is. So Angelica triquinata, which is like for plants they have like a certain, like, I forget the terminology for it, but they have certain like Latin root names. And then the words are receptivity and female essence.
Love.
Which is great. And right off the bat too, like just from my knowledge, it's every single person has 2 parts of themselves, yin and yang, the male and the female. So this is like, and I've also been like getting similar cards to this where it's like asking you to like kind of say in like a female,
I want to see
like
the picture.
receiving, and it looks like angel wings. It's a blue background and it's like the 2 roots. It's so pretty. So in here it says, Archangel Root is used in Southern root work for a variety of magical applications, to ward off evil, to purify a space of negative energy, and to even bless a newborn baby. But it's perhaps mostly widely used magically to boost the female essence or enhance female power. So Angelica has a pleasant scent, which lends its others named wild celery. It grows in the Appalachian region up in Pennsylvania, and it's a medicinal plant, and it also can help with anxiety, fever, and insomnia. Now, some women actually use this to stimulate their menstrual periods with the intention to cause an abortion. Through the root is not inherently abortive or poisonous. So this is a signifier of the female essence. Often people, regardless of gender, are reluctant to recognize the opposing forces of feminine and masculine, of the yin and yang. That's weird. The inhabit of all our personalities. This card calls you to embrace the side of that is receptive, nurturing, and empathetic. So right off the bat with this one, I'm kind of getting that it's asking you to be in a place where you're in the receptive mode, which is different from masculine in the way where masculine is very protective, but it's also very action oriented, where it's telling you like to do stuff, like get stuff done. This is asking you to like allow like this to come in, which I think makes sense for you like in general in life, where you're a very hands-on person, like you're the first person to be like, okay, let me help you, let me do this. This is asking you to kind of take a back seat and like allow things
after
to
I
happen
complained about that for like an hour
and
before.
To for you. Yeah, which is like kind of perfect. I love it. And then for personal life, or sorry, for career, you got the number 44. So 4 might be an important number because you have 14 and 44.
I was gonna say 1444.
And it says, this funny card, it's monkey ball or Maclura pomifera, and it says weight and rigidity. And for those of you who are audio listeners, it's a bunch of like green leaves in the background, and then the monkey balls look like 2 big limes that are next to each other.
In the shape of what many would presume as something.
I'll let you guys leave it to your imagination.
And that's my work card?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So it says the monkey ball or asa. You know what's crazy is like I was shuffling this deck for myself, like out there for like 20 minutes, and neither one of these cards pulled out.
Really?
At all. Yeah, I kept getting the same ones over and over again. And
that's
then,
cool.
Yeah. So for people who are anti-believers out there, I'm telling you.
She's got proof right there.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
Okay. The monkey ball or Osage orange, I think, orange, has many amusing names, as one might imagine, for what they essentially look like: a tree, a baseball. They're also called horse apples, monkey brains, hedge balls, and they seem fairly ridiculous, just big, lumpy, inedible fruits that seem more well suited for throwing than eating. Perhaps a monkey ball distance from the real value these thorny trees can provide to humans. They're very dense wood. Some archers claim that the wood makes the best bows for accuracy. Mostly, though, people just look at this as an ancient tree, which has evolved very little over the years, and puzzle at its possible role in natural ecosystem, since other animals seem to not rely on it either. None of us wish to be in a position where others might look at us and wonder what we're good for. Rigidity is nothing to aspire towards. It represents failure to evolve. The monkey ball card reminds us to stay competitive in our fields, to stay relevant in our communications, and to be open to a personal evolution.
Okay.
So I think it's interesting that you pulled that for career, because like right off the bat, I think it's just asking you to be more like fluid, to go with the flow more, and just be open to like, you know, like I get a visual even of like a baseball being like thrown and just being open to like taking a swing even if you miss, versus like refusing to play at all. You know?
I can see that being, you know, because I am pretty rigid at work. I would say I really
like your thing, your way type.
Kind of, and I really don't like when things skew off the path. So I think I get that. Sometimes I need to be okay with things kind of taking a turn for the better or for the worse. I agree with that. I think
and
that's
I feel like this matches right in actually with the Archangel root too, because that talks about being like receptive to things and being open and like to receive things, and this is like talking about not being too rigid into what you want to happen, but allowing things to evolve in ways,
right,
you know, in order to feel more joy where you are, and not to feel like, okay, like I'm stuck on this one perspective and now I'm not going to be open to any other perspective. And if that doesn't happen the way I want it to happen, then it's going to be this disappointment no matter what, even if the thing that does happen actually turns out to be better for you than what you ever imagined.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a thing I struggle with, is not being as open-minded as I should be.
It's something I struggle a lot with. I get like very headlights, like where I have this idea that I want for myself, and like if I don't get it, it doesn't even matter if like the other alternative ends up being actually something more aligned or fitting, because it's like, why didn't I get what I want again, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely, that's the thing that I want to work on maybe this spring and summer, is to just like be happy that things will wilt away and not bloom successfully, and things will bloom, and let nature take its course.
And that's how I feel, man. I like to think that like the source of everything is a way better like painter, you know, than me. Like I work with such a small lens, so it's like when things don't make sense, usually I feel like there's always a reason for it that ends up, and even if I look back in my own life, it's like the things that didn't work out or the things that ended up, like there were so many lessons to be learned from that, or it led me to different paths and choices that led me to a more successful or more aligned like outcome in the end.
Right. I agree.
There's something to be said about going with the flow, even though it's freaking hard.
It is hard.
Yeah. But why don't we do one card pull for our readers, or our listeners?
Our listeners, yes.
Readers.
And this will be general.
This will be general. This is for you guys out there listening. You know, what's the energy of the collective? Oh, that just popped out.
That card just fell right out.
Okay. So you guys got Azalea. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the Latin name, but the words are temperance and calm, and the number is 20. Temperance and calm, which I feel like this makes sense, especially with how chaotic the world is right now, and also Year of the Horse. Like, there's a lot of like emotion running high, like running quick. So it says, when visitors from other climates visit the American South in the springtime, azaleas often make a strong first impression, especially in the more temperate regions of the Great Smoky Mountains. The national park is famous for its stunning displays of flame azaleas, mountain laurel, and rose bay, I can't even pronounce that word, rhododendron. They represent patience, temperance, and the family. And they were the symbol of the temperance movement in the USA, which actually ultimately led to prohibition. Another way to think of temperance, however, is the idea of balance, peacefulness, and calm. A truly wise person will know that to wish for constant and predictable happiness is foolish and impossible, and that in fact happiness comes in waves, just like the spring flowers. If you draw this card, note the ways in which you find calmness and serenity in your own life, and ask yourself, how might you blossom more fully if you were to seek out even more ways to achieve balance? And I think that's perfect and exactly what needs to be going on right now. It's like, how do we find that balance in all the chaos? How do we find the calm in the storm? Because at the end of the day, it's not for other people, it's so you can live the happiest life that you can live, you know?
I agree. No, that was a good card.
Yeah.
Azalea.
I think it's perfect. And
Very
for those
pretty.
of you who are a listener, they're beautiful pink flowers. And I've definitely seen these out and about.
Yeah, they're a very popular flower.
Yeah.
People plant.
So if you're in the South, take a look out and remember to have some calm, have some temperance.
Yeah, just like what the card says.
Just like what it said. All right, folks. Well, thank you for listening. If you like today's episode, we come out with new episodes every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And make sure to hit that follow button and that little bell that I think Spotify or whatever platform you're listening to this on has, so you get notifications every week of our new episodes.
Yup.
Anything else to finish us off? Well said.
I don't know.
All right, bye, everybody.